Apple is secretly working on a major spring event where 4 brand new products may make their big debut. Plus, we've got some new info on iOS 18, set to be Apple's biggest iPhone software update ever. Apple's also working to fix one of their absolute worst products, and we've got new info on the iPhone 16 and some weird design choices Apple is making. Here's the biggest Apple news that you need to know about right now, and you should also know that we have a big thanks to give to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. So I should probably start this video by addressing the $3,500 elephant in the room, and that is that Vision Pro goes on sale in the US this Friday, February 2nd. Now, I know most of you watching these videos don't really care about Vision Pro, so I'm not gonna waste your time here. I'm just gonna say that it seems like, based off of early numbers here, Apple's looking to have a positive result from Vision Pro, at least initially, but that might be changing soon. Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo says Apple could have sold between 160 and 180,000 units of Apple Vision Pro based off the 3 different configuration tiers over that initial order weekend, which is good news for Apple considering we'd heard they only made 60 to 80,000, so they've got some work to do to catch up. But there is a big question here, and that is this like going to be like sustained growth? Like, are people actually super excited about this moving forward and this is going to be a big hit? Or was this just a case where Apple nerds and enthusiasts spent their money to buy this thing and the excitement was here and now it's going to go here because no one is going to order it if they didn't order it already? It's going to be interesting to see how things play out, but of course, I will bring you the latest on Vision Pro and my thoughts and reactions and all that a little later on, so stay tuned for that. Moving from one expensive Apple product over to another, let's talk about Apple's first event of 2024, which should be sort of their somewhat regular spring event. Usually happens in the March or April timeframe, and it looks like this year could be happening in March, so just a month-ish away from Apple's first big event to kick off the year with some brand new products. As we get closer and closer to this spring event, we're obviously learning more and more about what Apple could launch at this event, and the new products that we could see soon are interesting, and not particularly in a good way. Rumor has it the big star of this spring event will be a duo of new iPad Pros, both the 11 and 12.9-inch models, which could include a landscape selfie camera, the first time we've seen that on an iPad Pro. Seems to make a lot of sense, and also the big deal here is Apple's switch away from mini LED screen technology over to OLED display technology, which means you're gonna get bright, vibrant, pixel level control over the display. Content should look amazing, should actually help battery life here as well too, so battery life should be better here on iPad Pros. That'll be great, but what we're hearing now over and over again from multiple sources is that pricing is going to change because of this switch to OLED and not changing in a good direction. At least one source, the Elec over here, is saying that the iPad Pros are about to get significantly more expensive in 2024. And even if you add in the other rumored upgrades here, the M3 chip, MagSafe support for MagSafe accessories, better battery life, whatever else Apple does, we're squarely in MacBook Air pricing territory here, and if I were the one walking in to buy a new Apple thing for $1,500 or whatever it is, 8 times out of 10 I'd buy MacBook Air. I think it's more versatile, you can actually do way more with it. Maybe it's not as comfortable for content consumption, but paying nearly $2,000 for an iPad Pro to me just seems ridiculous, especially given that iPad OS is still super limited. The whole what's a computer thing, trying to make the iPad Pro a computer, to me has just never panned out. Pro apps aren't as good as they should be. There's just too many concessions with the iPad Pro, so the OLED display is great, but you've really got to love watching stuff on the iPad Pro to pay these level of prices. This is just going to be insane. Hopefully it's not this expensive, but again, what we're hearing right now is iPad Pros will be getting more expensive, I'm sorry to say. But with that bad does come some slightly better news, and that is with another new iPad making its debut at the spring event, and that is an all-new iPad Air. We just actually got the leaked CAD file for this. Allegedly, this is what it's going to look like, and the big story here is that there is a new iPad Air model coming with a 12.9-inch display option. So if you do want a bigger iPad screen for watching movies, playing games, reading news, whatever it may be, but you don't want to shell out, what was that again? $1,800 for a 12.9-inch OLED display. This is going to be your way to go, a much cheaper alternative, hopefully significantly cheaper, and still going to give you a great iPad experience. It's not going to have an OLED display or the other Pro bells and whistles, but you're going to be saving a ton of money here and still get a really great large iPad experience. And then one more product that may or may not make its debut at this event, maybe around WWDC is the alternative here, is an all-new HomePod with a screen. Now, this is not the rumor to get confused with this thing, the actual like home hub thing that Apple would, work on to compete with Amazon and Google. This is just like it sounds like this, sort of a HomePod with a screen. And I will keep my thoughts here brief, and I'll say as someone who owns a HomePod Mini, the sound is great. I know that's the same case to be said for sort of the larger HomePod, but Siri is absolute trash, and controlling that thing and talking to it and doing anything is awful because Siri is so bad. And I'll come back to Siri in a moment and Apple's plans to fix it, but I don't know if a screen on this thing is going to make it any more desirable if Siri is still at the helm, dumb as ever, trying to control things. I have no doubt Apple can make some super sleek UI, but HomePod with a screen, what's the value there? I'm not sold, but maybe I'm just a little too critical. Now, admittedly, it isn't super fair for me to be all talk and no action when it comes to fixing some of Apple's biggest issues. The problem I have, though, is that I'm not very well versed in the scene of computer science or programming or math, but I'm working on it in a way that is fun, interactive, and in a way that I feel like I'm really solving real problems. That's all made possible by this video's sponsor, Brilliant. Brilliant is the best way to learn math, data science, and computer science interactively at your own pace and on your own time. New lessons are added every single month, and they have got thousands of lessons to choose from here on Brilliant that really range from, beginner topics to advanced, and I love that Brilliant really customizes this content to really fit your needs, and again, you do it on your own pace, at your own time. If you wanted to get into a topic like engineering or science, but it just wasn't clicking for whatever reason, you may just need a different way to learn, and I can tell you from experience here that Brilliant is the perfect way to go. Personally, I feel like I'm solving real problems. I love that I'm learning in a way that's interactive, and again, it's just been plain fun for me. Best of all is that you can get started totally for free for 30 days, and the first 200 subscribers to click that special link down below will get 20% off an annual plan by visiting brilliant.org/theAppleCircle. So again, check it out, take advantage of that amazing deal, and again, try it for free right now. Start right now, no excuses. Again, hit that link down below or head to brilliant.org/theAppleCircle. Another product to debut at the spring event will be an all-new MacBook Air. The ironic thing about MacBook Air is that we got that 15-inch model seemingly right before the transition over from M2 to M3, so don't expect any big design changes here. Still the same design, two options, but you will have the M3 chip. All right, switching gears from that, let's talk for a moment about the iPhone 16 and the internal debate happening right now at Apple about buttons and about cameras. One of the biggest design changes of the 2024 iPhone 16 lineup might just be how the cameras on the back are positioned. They might sort of keep the regular, what is this, like the triangle orientation we've had for the last couple of years, or there is some talk that Apple might go back to the vertically stacked system of like the iPhone XS era. Now, hopefully, besides just the way the cameras are positioned, there should be some other like hardware improvements here, like better telephoto camera on the smaller 16 Pro. We might actually be getting a 48 megapixel ultra wide lens for the Pros as well. Hopefully some bigger updates coming soon. But there's also been talk, like I said, cameras and buttons, about buttons and what Apple may or may not do with the iPhone 16 series. On the 16 Pros, it seems like Apple is moving forward with replacing the physical buttons with touch-sensitive buttons. Not exactly sure what benefit this gives us, but here we go. And also we're hearing that Apple is set to give a capture button to every single iPhone 16 model in the lineup for 2024. Basically, to use a prop here as an example, you see like the millimeter wave little antenna there. It's sort of hard to see, but you can kind of see it there on US phones. Basically, this would turn into a touch-sensitive button that you would use for taking photos and videos that apparently you can like slide and zoom, and it responds to pressure and taps. Maybe it's just me, and I don't mean to be such a cynic, but I don't find myself ever using the action button on the 15 Pro as it is, and I want to know who's asking Apple for more buttons. Who wants more buttons on the iPhone 16 series? Maybe there's a use case here. I really hope it's like not one of those things where it's just for spatial video and, oh, because of Vision Pro, you have to have a dedicated button for that. I hope it's something more generally used than that, but who knows what Apple's going to do. I don't know. I don't mean to be a cynic. Obviously, like I said before in other videos, like things change between right now and when the phones come out. These are all still very early leaks and rumors, but that's what we're looking at right now. Some slight design changes to the 16, some changes with the buttons, hopefully, better battery life, internal processor bump, stuff like that, some camera improvements, but nothing radically different, at least as of what we've heard so far, coming to the iPhone 16 this fall. But I do have one exception for that, because one area where Apple is listening to their customers and are set to make some radical changes is with iOS 18, because according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, his sources are telling him that iOS 18 is set to be like the biggest software update in the iPhone's entire history. This is supposed to be the year that Apple changes everything. Hopefully they change it in a good way. Now, besides those very significant words and all of the hype, there's been nothing else we've learned about this so far, besides like two areas. One is messaging should be better with iOS 18. RCS support should be here, so if you like to do those Android, iOS group texts, those should be better here with iOS 18. And also we're hearing that Siri is going to be getting significantly better here on iOS 18. So I talked before about how Siri is sort of behind and how it's dumb, and hopefully Apple is looking to fix that with iOS 18. I think even the biggest Apple fans and supporters would acknowledge that Siri is sort of behind the competition, and it's sort of hard because you can't make like a one-to-one comparison between ChatGPT and Google Bard and Siri, because Apple's way more privacy focused than the other aforementioned options. But also I think that Siri is just, it's too far behind. We're hearing right now that Apple is spending like billions and billions of dollars. They are pouring money into making Siri better. So hopefully we get some substantial improvements and just hopefully some better features all around with iOS 18. And I'm curious, what do you want to see in iOS 18? Interactive widgets, some changes to messages, notifications, lock screen customization. Let me know what you want to see in iOS 18 down below in the comments. Generally speaking, as always, I want to know your thoughts on the Apple news of the week. Did you pre-order a Vision Pro? When are you getting it? Are you like me that had to order the special Zeiss optical inserts because us glasses wearers are being punished? Your thoughts on iOS 18, iPhone 16, Apple Spring event. Let me know your thoughts down below. And if you made it to the very end of the video, drop an Apple emoji in the comments. That'll let me know who the true Apple Circle fans are. Saying at the very end of the video, to you guys, I say thank you so much, because you're the true fans, and I appreciate you so much. As always, thank you guys so much for your support. I appreciate it. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all in the next one.